Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back playing some FTB Infinity for episode 72. Now, last episode we were working with these P2P tunnels from Applied Energistics to enable us to get more channels over in the last millennium. And since the end of last episode, I have read the comments of the last episode and people pointed out that if we were actually to go ahead and stick down our P2P tunnel directly onto one of our ME controllers, which I have done right here, we've now got the P2P tunnel on the ME controller, that actually allows us to have 32 other P2P subnetworks off of this one P2P controller. So it's hard to get your head around at first, but basically, we have one P2P tunnel here connected to the controller, which means it can have up to 32 channels, if we use the right cable, coming off of this one P2P controller. Now, if we were to go over to the last millennium over here, this looks pretty much exactly the same. If we look over here, we now have the stuff coming out here, and this is the other P2P tunnel. This is like the same one. This is connected via the use of the memory card to the other P2P tunnel. So it starts over in the overworld and comes out over here, and as you can see, we're using 3 of 8 channels here, but still only 1 of 8 channels here, which goes all the way back to the controller. And of course, because we've hooked it straight up to the controller, if we were to use dense cables, we'd have up to 32 channels, which means we can have 32 of these other P2P tunnels, and then each of those P2P tunnels can then have its own set of, I think, maybe even up to 32 of their own, which just gives a massive amount of cables and possible channels that we can have for just a ton of possible stuff. For now, we just have this one here. We're just using still the smart cables that we made last episode, and so we have 8 channels available here. I've also gone ahead and hooked up all the way around here, because today we're going to be working with these big glass boxes that I made, and most of the stuff we're going to be using over here is going to use some form of Applied Energistics. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is having something that looks a little bit like this, have some cables come this way, have a P2P tunnel go there, we'll have another one like here, and then a final one here, so that each one of these big glass cubes can have up to 8 channels worth of stuff connected to them at once. Now, we might not need all of those straight away, but it's nice to have the option if we want to expand in the future. And also, in a recent update to Applied Energistics, not to Applied Energistics, in a recent update to Feed the Beast Infinity, we actually got the Extra Cells mod, and if we go ahead and type in Extra Cells here, like so, Extra Cells is a mod that basically integrates liquids in with Applied Energistics. So what I'm thinking about doing probably next episode is setting up a system that allows us to store all of our mob essence, which is the stuff that we use to power our auto spawners, and storing that mob essence in like a tank that we then hook up to our AE system, so that we could then send it to these auto spawners via the AE system, and we don't have to use these ender tanks. That's going to allow us to get a nice backlog of mob essence and stuff like that. But that is for next episode. Today, I should probably explain what in the heck these are for. So, what I want to work on today is I want to automate the process of creating Enderium. If we go ahead and look, Enderium is not all that hard to make, but it's a bit of a pain if we want to make it every single time that it's used, which is a lot, especially for some of the late game expensive stuff, which is kind of what we're moving into. We're episode 72, we're moving into the late game, and we're about to start making some really expensive stuff, especially the tanks next episode, that require a lot of Enderium. So, it would be nice if we could just say to our AE system, hey, can I have some Enderium? And the AE system's like, yeah, of course you can. Here you go. We'll craft some for you. So the first thing I'm going to do this episode is actually go ahead and request, and actually we should really, and what I might do between episodes, is set up a wireless access point over here in the last millennium, because we're going to be doing quite a bit of work here. But what I want to do is I'm going to request some smart cables. We'll say like a stack, maybe? Oh, wow. Good. Okay, I was worried then that it wouldn't be able to do that, but it seems to be handling that just fine. So, the way Enderium is made, it's made in 2 different ways. You can either use the induction smelter with Enderium blend and pyrotheum dust. This way is a bit harder because it requires a bucket of resonant ender, which means playing around with the fluid transposers and getting buckets in and out and all that kind of stuff. Or you can make it the Ender.io way, which is simply a blazing pyrotheum, 2 Enderium base, which are made using tin, silver, and shiny ingots, which, by the way, we are producing from our little bee farm, so shiny ingots aren't really any kind of issue. And then finally, it is 2 ender pearls, which are, of course, got from Enderman. Now, there are a few issues with automating this. The first is that we are no longer producing ender pearls in any way, shape, or form. Our mob spawner doesn't spawn Enderman in. Our 2 creeper spawners don't spawn Enderman in, as you probably know, so we're not getting ender pearls from anywhere. The blazing pyrotheum uses blaze powder, which we are not getting from anywhere. And then finally, things like redstone and glowstone are used a lot to make stuff like this, and to make the cabling, and glowstone isn't really as useful, but redstone is used a lot. And although we are getting a lot of redstone, we could like burn through it really quickly. And so what I have gone ahead and set up over here are some mob farms. We're going to have one for Enderman, so we can go ahead and get some Enderman spawning in. We're going to have one for blazers, so we can get some blaze rods, turn that into blaze powder, and use that to craft all our Enderium, all our pyrotheum dust, and then Enderium, I guess. And then finally, we've got one that is going to be for witches, so that we get things like redstone and glowstone dropped, as well as all the other stuff that witches drop as well. So what I've done here is I've set up a bunch of 9x9 rooms, because that is the maximum area of the auto spawner. They're a little bit tall. They don't quite need to be this tall, I don't think. I mean, the Endermen are fairly tall, but they're not quite this tall. I could have made it a bit shorter, but I think it looks kind of cool. By the way, it's made out of dark glass and then glowstone glass, which is what's lighting up this whole area over here. I just thought it looked kind of cool. And what I've gone ahead and done as well is set up a few grinders around the outside here, because grinders only do a 5x5 area. So only having one in would mean that most of the cube here would not get affected, and so most of the mobs would stay alive, which is not what we want. So I set up a couple of grinders, and the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to need some tesseracts to bring some power over. We've got 3, which is good. I'll take all 3 for now, although I don't quite think we're going to use them all. We could do with some more redstone energy flux ducts, which we don't quite have yet. I might have to go ahead and make a few more of those. I would also like some smart cable, of which we have now a stack. And I would also like to go ahead and make some chests for the grinders to output to. Now, staying in theme with the rest of the build, I'm going to go with the crystal chests, because I like the idea of everything over here being transparent and see-through. And if we look around, we need one chest there. Both of those grinders should be able to deposit to the same chest. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 7 crystal chests, which is a little expensive, but we've got a lot of diamonds, so in all fairness, it shouldn't be that bad on us here. So we'll go ahead and we'll just make apparently nothing, because we have nowhere near any oakwood planks. We'll first of all make a bunch of oakwood planks, and then stick all those in there. By the way, a quick shortcut. If you triple click, 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe? If you shift and then triple click onto an item, it'll throw all of that item into your AE system. It's kind of useful little trick there if you want to move a lot of one singular item out of your inventory and not everything else. Then we'll go ahead and make ourselves 7 of these chests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wish you could craft a little bit faster in there, but that's fine. We'll turn them all into iron chests, and we ended up getting 20, which is not what we wanted, but that's fine. We have an absolute butt ton of iron. We'll then make 7 of those. Turn them into diamond chests, like so, and then we'll turn them into crystal chests, like so. And now that we have an absolute butt ton of glass just being made constantly by our draconic chest, glass is not even an issue whatsoever. And now we can go ahead and we can just plop these down right about there. Nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some ME cable underneath. I'm going to stick some ME import buses on the back of here, because although these are pretty big chests, if we leave the server running for quite a long time, these are going to fill up fairly quickly, and therefore I would like all of the stuff to go back to the AE system. If the AE system does get anywhere near full, we can always go ahead and use some of our just massive amounts of channels now to throw down some more ME drives, put some more 1K, 6K, 4K, 6K is not a thing, 1K, 4K, 16K, or 64K storage drives in there, and we should be good to store all of this stuff pretty much forever. So, all of that is stored up. Let's have a look at getting ourselves some ME import buses. These things are not too hard, I don't think. No, we need some annihilation cores, which should be fairly easy, like so. We only need 7. And then sticky pistons we can, of course, make using the rubber from our little rubber tree farm outside. How much rubber do we have now? We have 30,000 rubber. Wow. 30,209. That is a lot of rubber. We'll take all of those. We got exactly 7, which is kind of perfect. And then we'll just stick these down like there, and like that, and like that. And then we'll just do this one for sure, and I'll go away and do the rest of them in a second. But if we were to go ahead and kind of run this through to the middle, and of course we're gonna have one that goes to, we are eventually gonna have one that goes to the auto spawner, because like I said, next episode I want to work on getting my fluids hooked up to the AE system. So we're gonna have one that has a fluid export bus on the auto spawner. That's not quite in the center, but oh no, I've got to do it. I've got to fix it. I don't like the fact that it's not in the center. Let me just fix that up real quick. So eventually we are going to have one that goes up into the middle, and we also, of course, need to get power up to there as well. So we'll have to figure that out, and I think I might have to end up moving that down a little bit, but I'll work on that in a second. Let's finish up with this guy running out over to there. And then, of course, we got the one more over here. And that's 3 of our 8 channels used up already. Like I said, we're going to have 1 for the auto spawn. That's going to take us to 4. I might use 1 or 2 more here and there, which might take us up to 5 or 6. We're not going to use all 8, but it's definitely going to help that we have 1 P2P tunnel for every single one of these. And finally, just to connect this up, if we simply right-click on this guy, it should say settings successfully loaded. And now, if we were, for example, to throw our, let's throw like our advanced drill in there, and then we to go look at our AE system, we should be able to pull our advanced drill right back out. Oh no, the advanced drill should end up in the system. Where the heck did you come from? Get the fudge out of here. The AE system does take a little bit of time to load in here. Is that gone? It has gone. It takes a little bit of time to kind of calculate it, especially with the cross-dimensional P2P tunnel stuff. It's a bit, like, I guess, intensive for the thing to figure out. But if we type in drill, you can see that our advanced diamond drill is now in the AE system. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to grab, I think, do we have any Safari nets? We have 2 here. We're going to need 1 more of those reusable Safari nets for the Witch, the Blaze, and the Enderman. So we'll take all 3 of those. I'm going to go away. I'm going to try and catch an Enderman. Like I said, we're not producing any, so I'm going to have to kind of go out into the wild, find an Enderman, and then bring him back. I'm also going to go to the Nether, grab a Blaze. I'm going to go to my mob spawner, try and get a Witch. I think witches are spawning in my mob spawner. Stick all those in there. I'm also going to go ahead and run all these cables along under these other 2 sections of the map as well. And yeah, I'm going to go do that, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, we now have something that looks like this. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've hooked up all of these guys with their ME cables. They all have the ME import buzzers here. Every single one of these, apart from the middle one, now has a tesseract. So I guess both of these end 2, I don't know why I said every single one, have a tesseract. And the reason why the middle one does not have a tesseract, nor does it have its auto spawner anymore, is that I remembered all the way back in like episode 9 or something ridiculously early, we actually moved a blaze spawner from the nether to the overworld. And the reason that it came back to me is that I went to the exact same spot in the nether where the original blaze was. And then when it wasn't there, I was kind of like, well, where is it? What did we do? And I remembered we brought it back. So if I go ahead and type in blaze, you will see there is actually a blaze spawner here now. One thing we are going to need, because the reason that these can be a bit of a pain sometimes, is we want this thing to be working even when we're not here. We want the mobs to continually spawn, even if we're in like the overworld, the nether, the end, whatever. We want this thing, as long as it's chunk loaded, to be spawning mobs. So, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go ahead and get ourselves some cursed earth that we got before and stick that in there as well. Now, I think we should be fine in terms of the cursed earth not turning into like anything else, because I don't think that the glowstone here like counts as daylight, obviously, and I don't think that I haven't checked, I haven't tested this, but I'm assuming that this dimension is not in like an eternal state of day. So if we were to put this down like so, it shouldn't do anything bad. And then if we were to get our blaze here and kind of just plonk it down like that, it should start to spawn blazes in. Now, I'm going to go get some dark glass and some glowstone glass to finish this thing up. I did make a little excess of both, like so, and we'll see. Now, I think, I'm not sure if it has to be dark for these 2 to spawn. If it does, what we might have to do is replace all of the, oh no, they are spawning. They are spawning. Nice. Okay, cool. So, now what we need to do is we need to get power to these little guys over here. So, let's grab some of our flux ducts. And like I said, I might have to go away to get some more. This could be a bit of a pain to make symmetrical just because of the way it's kind of set up here. But I think if we do something like this, it might not look too bad. And then if we set this to frequency 1, like so, that should start to give power to this guy, which begins to kill them. And then I was going to use the tanks. We might actually be able to use the power, the mob essence generated by these grinders to power some of the other auto spawners here. But for now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and got 2 more of our ender tanks, which are hooked up to our main mob spawner back at base. And the plan for this one is to kind of throw down the tanks here, and I guess like there. and to have them pump out of there and up into the auto spawner. And the way I'm going to do that, because we only have one block space between the Tesseract and the auto spawner, we need to send both power and the mob essence from these two sources into this one. We're going to actually go ahead and make a conduit that I don't know if we've used yet from thermodynamics, and that is the flux-plated fluiduct. So if we're going to, if I type in flux-plated, I guess, flux, I think it's dash plated. This guy over here, the flux-plated fluiduct, is a conduit that can transfer up to 2,000 redstone flux per tick, which I believe should be more than enough to power the auto spawner, and it allows fluids to pass through it as well. So, to make this, we need an electrum ingot, we need some signalum nuggets. I'm not sure if we have any signalum or some signalum ingots, as well as, of course, some hardened fluiducts. So, I think we have some electrum. That shouldn't be any too big of a deal. But signalum is, well, it's a bit trickier to make. It's not really that hard. It's some copper, some silver, and some redstone in an alloy smelter. So we'll take some of our massive storage of copper, some of our silver, not tin. Also, let's clear out the inventory a little bit. Take some of, yeah, that should do fine. And then get ourselves some redstone, and that should be good enough to get us some stuff. We should also probably go ahead, and that's not even close to the right machine. We should probably also go ahead and teach our system at some point how to make ingots like signalum, especially when we're also making ingots like enderium and stuff like that. Actually, I might go ahead and teach you this recipe later on towards the end of today's episode when we teach it how to make enderium as well. We are on an octadic capacitor, so I was kind of hoping this would be a little bit faster. But that's fine. We've got 4 signalum ingots. They have gone straight back into the AE system. So if we go ahead and type in signalum, we can go ahead and do something like this. Nice. We didn't need anywhere near 12 of them, but that's fine. We're going to get a bunch of signalum from all of that stuff we just put in the alloy smelter. And now, if we were to do something like this, and then kind of get rid of you, and then grab ourselves a servo, or 2, because we need 1 for each auto spawner, servo. We've got 5 of them. That is very nice indeed. We should be able to hook all these guys up. So you should have power now. You do. That's good. That's the witch spawner, by the way. And then if we put that on there and set that to output, that should work as well. I also think that actually if we get rid of that and then just swizzle this at the front, I think that also sets it to output. We can give that a test by doing the same thing over here. If we go boom, 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 set you to frequency 1, give that a tick, swizzle the nozzle on that one, and yeah, there we go. That one connects out as well. Gonna get rid of that just for aesthetics. This one, it seems to be working fine, but like I said before, not all of these are connected, so we have to go ahead and connect all of these up in order for it to work. And again, we'll kind of do something like this, and hopefully not have it look too terrible. And there we go. Let's go start killing the Enderman. The Endermen are already getting the, yeah, that's working. Cool. So the witches are being spawned in. The Endermen are being spawned in thanks to the mob essence being transferred over now. Hopefully the mob essence, we'll be able to keep up with the amount of mob essence being used by all of these. The grinders should be set up. Apparently you're not set up. That's obvious because you do not have any power yet. But I'm going to have to go away and make some more conduits to make that happen. So I will probably do that in a bit. What I want to work on now is probably going to require us to be back in the overworld. And that is the actual auto-crafting of Enderium. So let's go ahead and type in Enderium. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to take this, because this is really the only part of the system that's in the overworld we need. All of the machines that we need are actually back in the last millennium. So we'll head back over here, and we'll start the auto-crafting process. So let's go ahead and bung this little pattern terminal down right about there. Nice. So if we go ahead and type in Enderium, and I realize I just got rid of the word ender to retype in Enderium. But if we look at this, all we need to do is we need some Enderium base. This is something we're going to have to teach our system how to make. And this is made using 2 tin, 1 silver, and 1 shiny metal. So if we were to change this over to process, and then we were to go shiny metal, which we can go like that, 2, I think it was 1 silver, 2 tin. We'll put 1 silver there, and then 2 tin. And you do have to specify how many of each ingot, so you have to put 2 in like that. Otherwise, it will not work. And also, we are going to have, do we have any Enderium base? Oh, we do. Nice. And then we'll say that makes 2 of that, I want to say. It makes 4. Okay, so that makes 4 of that. And then if we were to go ahead and encode this pattern, what we should be able to do, much like we'll be able to do in a second with, I guess, signalum. We might as well teach the recipe for signalum as well, which is 10 redstone, not 4 redstone. We need 10 redstone, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 redstone. Was it like a few copper and 1 silver? Maybe? Signalum. Signalum is made using 3 copper, 1 silver, and some red. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1 silver, and then 10 redstone. Get rid of those. That gets us 4 signalum, and then we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Encode, and now our system should know how to make both Enderium base and signalum. So if we were to pull all of our signalum out, and then go ahead and request, say, 4, or if we request 1, it would just make 4 for us. It should send all the required materials to here, and then go ahead and start processing those up until we get what we're after. Now, I'm going to change this to alloys only mode because we don't want anything going in here first and then getting smelted into something else. For example, if sand was required for one of the recipes and we sent in like sand, then gravel, then dirt, that doesn't make anything. But for example, if that was the case, the sand would get smelted into glass before it got smelted into an alloy. So you got to make sure it's on alloys only mode to make sure that it actually goes ahead and makes alloys and not stuff like glass. We can do that with other furnaces in the future if we wish. Anyway, back to Enderium. If we go ahead and type in Enderium again, the next stage of Enderium is the Blazing Pyrotheum. The Ender Pearls are just fine. We've got those already. That's all good. The next stage is Blazing Pyrotheum, which is made using pulverized core, which I believe our system should already know how to make. It does. This is good. So now it can just take all of our coal and pulverize that up as and when it needs it. It's also made using redstone, which we're now getting from the Witches, blaze powder, which we're getting from the Blazers, although we might have to teach our system how to turn blaze rods into blaze powder, but that is not at all too big of a deal, and that will require us to go back to the overworld to stick that in one of our things. I've completely forgotten what they're called. The autocrafters. They are called molecular assemblers. That's the one I'm looking for. We have to set that up so that the molecular assembler can turn the blaze rods into the blaze powder. But the last bit, and probably the hardest bit for me until I figured out it was really easy, is this guy over here, the sulfur or the sulfur dust. Now, sulfur is a big pain in the backside to get. Sulfur dust from BiblioCraft is actually really, really easy to get because you can make it by compressing up or extracting 1 gunpowder into 1 sulfur, and thanks to the fact that we have 2 fully functioning gunpowder farms back in the overworld, if we were to go ahead and grab an extractor, which we don't have over here, but we might have at home, but just for the sake of keeping the one at home, we can always go ahead and make a new one here. Because I can't imagine they're actually that hard to make, although we haven't played, and this is the wrong terminal to be doing this in, we haven't played with flipping BiblioCraft in quite some time now. But if we make 4 of those, do we have any electric circuits? Oh, we don't. Oh, wait a second, but our system claims to know how to make them. Let's put our system to the test. Does our system know how to make them? It says so. I assume it's going ahead and throwing that plate in, and it's making some stuff. I will be very surprised. Oh my gosh, it worked. Oh wow, cool. Alright, so that worked. And then we'll go ahead and do something like this. Do we have any iron plates? We, of course, do not. Let's request 10 of those. Our system should know how to make those just fine. And then if we were to do something like this, it's almost good to go. I like it. I like it. We're also going to need some cable. And by cable, I, of course, mean RedNet energy cable, which allows us to transfer from redstone flux to EU, which is the unit of energy that machines from BiblioCraft use. And we're going to have to... Oh, if you would mind leaving, that would be great. We're going to have to do that because, of course, right now, all of our power coming to here is in redstone flux. But if we do something like this... Not like that at all. If we do something like this, we should be able to transfer the power over and into our brand new extractor. Nice. So we'll throw that guy down like that. If we need to, we can always go ahead and throw some overclockers in this guy in the future. Not too sure how this is going to work. So we're going to need a new interface for this one. And I feel like interface, we might have to do a little bit of swizzling around of the extractor, because I'm not sure if we can pull out of this side of the extractor. So let's go ahead and try and teach it that gunpowder equals this new stuff. Look how much flipping gunpowder is coming in. We're getting like more gunpowder every second. It is great. That's just that our creeper spawner is working nice and well in the overworld. This thing could definitely do with some overclockers. Jeez, we don't have any right now. But what I will probably do between episodes is either move some of the overclockers from... Actually, we could go ahead and grab the ones from our macerator and extractor back at home. This is the nether fortress I was in before. We could grab some of the overclockers from here, because this is not being used anymore for anything. I'll take all 7 and see how well they all hold up in that extractor. They probably won't have enough power to run with all 7, but we'll throw them all in for now and see how that works. We'll throw you in there, and yeah, you can see that instantly dropped there. If we go back over to here, type in gunpowder, we can try and teach our system that gunpowder equals the... make sure it's a processing sulfuric dust in code. So if we throw that onto there, and then we were to go ahead and request some sulfuric dust, like so. Say I requested 10. It should do a fine job of sending things over there, and it seems to be, if we take like 2 out maybe, 5 seems to be fine. It seems to be okay with running 5 overclockers. And then, does it work if I was to say get a transfer node, which we don't seem to have, but we can probably make very easily, like so, once we get a chest. And then, of course, we're going to need some pipes. Is that going to work at pulling out from the left-hand side? It might, and it does, and the world is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to hook that back up, and so all of this sulfuric dust goes right back out and into there, and now it knows how to make sulfuric dust, and that is absolutely fantastic. So if we go back again to Enderium, we should now be able to teach it how to make the pyrotheum dust, like so. This is the crafting pattern, so in code. Let's head on back to our home. And I think I'm going to have to change this real quick to home. Right click, and then if we throw these in somewhere over here, hopefully this one will work. Can we now request, pyrotheum dust? We can, and does it work is the question. If I request, say, let's say I request 10 of that and click start, and then we go back to the last millennium, we should see the extractor making some sulfur. We should see the SeNtiMeL making some pulverized coal. Possibly, unless we had all that stuff to begin with, which apparently we did because we already have it to the pyrotheum, sulfur. We have 6. If I take that out and we request some more, it should go ahead and start crafting stuff up. Or not. But it works. And that's fine. Okay, let's get rid of all of you. And then, of course, the final step of the process is to teach it how to actually make Enderium, which is with 2 ender pearls, a pyrotheum dust, and an Enderium base. So, let's grab the Enderium base, let's grab the pyrotheum that we've just made, and let's grab some ender pearls, of which we have 908, which is very nice indeed. And then if we go and do something like this, we need, I think it's 2 ender pearls, 2 of you, and then 1 pyrotheum dust, I think was the recipe, maybe? Yeah, 2, 1, 2. So we need 2 of you, 2 of you, and 1 of you. And if we go over to you here and go boom. Oh, we need 1 more, don't we? That's fine, though. We can request some more Enderium base. Let's request 1 more of those. Start. That should go ahead and make me 4 just instantly. There we go. Thank you very much. You are too kind, machine. Enderium base, we'll take that. And then once we have got ourselves the Enderium here, we should be good to go. So we'll throw you back into the AE system. Everything over here looks to be... Oh, you're walking out. That is because I did not fill in these spots. That is completely 100% understandable. Are you chasing me? You are. Thank you. You took your time throwing that at me. I'm just going to say, you were... Thank you for throwing your friend off there. You were very slow at attacking me there, I will admit. Thankfully, the Enderman cannot fit through their door. Flipping poison is like the one and only thing that can kill us, because our our armor doesn't protect us against poison. It's horrible. We really need to get a wireless charger over here in this dimension so that our armor will nicely charge back up. We should now have some Enderium, which we did already have, actually. But then we can go ahead and put that in there. Does this make 1? It makes 2. We'll teach that makes 2 Enderium. Encode. Boom. And then if we would throw that into this guy, we should now be able to request like 100 Enderium and have it actually work, which is crazy. It's going ahead, it's making the pulverized coal. It'll probably start sending over some gunpowder in a second, I assume. I'm hoping that the way we've got this set up right now, it's not going to pull out the gunpowder straight away. I don't think it will, but just to be safe, I will get a filter, and we will filter only the sulfur. Actually, we can probably test this real quick, can't we? If I was to throw a piece of gunpowder in there, that doesn't get pulled out, which is good. Let's take that sulfur that we just made, which is probably not going to be... Oh, it is. Just to be on the safe side, although I didn't do it, and I have complete faith that it's not going to do anything wrong, I'm just going to put this in there just for a little bit of peace of mind, so it only pulls out sulfur. And if you have a look here, it should be well on its way to making us all of this stuff here. Right now, it's working through all of the Enderium base. It's just making as much of that as we need. And then when we come back next episode, this should be done. We will have... Look at that. It's making it already. It's made 16, 18. We already have 42 of the Enderium there. We might have already had enough blazing pyrotheum to begin with to make that happen. That is kind of crazy. But with that, guys, I'm going to end today's episode there. What I'll do between this episode and next is, first of all, I'm going to get rid of that ugly little set of bricks over here, because that's... Oh, I can't quite reach. Because it's really annoying me having those two there. And if you wouldn't shoot at me, that would be fantastic. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I will hook up the last of these grinders with power, so these all start working. All of the stuff will start getting pulled into the AE system, and then we will have a fully automated way of getting all of our Enderium, and it will be absolutely fantastic. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. What are you doing? What is this? What is this? Get out of the car and just pull it up. Oh, flipping jar.